Hi, this is Jess at Medusa Tarot. Hope you're doing great. I'm new here, so I'm going to quickly explain to you how we do this. We're doing things a little bit differently. So I'm not doing zodiac-based readings. I'm doing planetary-based readings. So I will be randomly picking a planet. I also have Chiron, Lilith, North and South Node in here to see which energy, according to the planets, we should be focusing on right now. I do have some zodiac cards I will bring out, and when I pull those out, I'll explain to you how we're working with them. But this is a very astrology-based tarot reading. That's what I'm focusing on this channel. So if that's interesting to you, I think if you're interested in astrology but don't fully understand the planets, this will be extremely helpful, okay? So let's see which planet would like to work with us today. One card, please, Spirit. Okay, so we have the South Node. So what is the South Node if you're not familiar with it? So the South Node is the energy that we bring in with us from the past, like our past lives, okay? So, for example, my South Node is Gemini, my North Node is Sagittarius. So in my younger life, in my teen years, especially in early 20s, I was extremely Gemini energy, super social, super unique and quirky. And I had friends in every different circle and super curious about lots of different things, right? And I had that very busy Mercury style energy. With my North Node in Sagittarius, I've become very more introspective and more into deeper learning about life and philosophy and spirituality. Okay, so that's kind of how the South Node and North Node work. So the South Node right now is in Virgo. Okay, that's for the collective. Everybody has their own South and North Node. So this might be referring to your own South Node, or I have a dog hair on my face, or the collective South Node. Okay, you can use online a South Node calculator to see. But this is the energy you come in with, the experience you come in with from past lives. So let's see with the zodiacs, which energies we're working with. Now, this does not have to be in your, rising sun sign, moon, Mercury, Mars, Venus. Doesn't have to be necessarily part of your strong astrology. This can be timelines. This can be energies that Spirit's saying they want you to work with, or even people around you. There's lots of different ways that you can relate to the zodiacs here, because we all have every zodiac sign in our chart, okay? So just because we don't have a planet there doesn't mean that it's not important. It's very important because it's influencing the house, the energy there, okay? Okay, so we have Sagittarius and Aquarius. So this could be energy around you. Your South Node can be in Sagittarius, or your South Node can be in Aquarius. And I think we are moving to, let me see, North Node in Aquarius after this cycle of North and South Node. This can be a timeline. This may have started for you during Aquarius season and will go through to Sagittarius season, however it relates to you, okay? So let's see. And also with Aquarius and Sagittarius, we may want to take on that energy, right? According to, or relating to the South Node. So you might want to innovate and change the way you've been working with your South Node, or start moving into your North Node. Or with Sagittarius, you might want to go into deeper understanding of your South Node and what it means for you, okay? So let's grab 3 cards and see what Spirit is trying to say to us, or especially our South Node. 3 cards, please. Okay, so we start here with strength, right? Leo. So this kind of is very interesting with the South Node. I have a dog hair on me or a cat hair, and it's driving me crazy. Ugh. So anyway, so this is where we want to allow our higher self to come in and take over some of our primal behaviors, primal instincts, maybe some of our South Node energies, okay, need a little work, need a little fine tuning. And we want to focus on the North Node energy to fine tune that, okay? So where do your primal energies interfere, or they could aid you in some ways, right? We want our primal energy. We want, if a house is on fire, to run out, right? We instinctually know we've got to run out of a burning house, okay? But we have things like fight or flight. We have stagnation, paralyzation, things we do when we're in an uncomfortable situation or dealing with aspects of life where that primal instinct is not helping us anymore, okay? And we want to call upon the higher self, ask spirit for help, learn more, whatever it takes, right? Because Sagittarius is here. So maybe we need to learn some self-help ways of dealing with this, or some spiritual ways of dealing with this, philosophy. With Aquarius energy, we want to think outside the box. We want to look at things from a completely different perspective and innovate the way we've been doing things, right? And Uranus with Aquarius loves to disrupt a little bit, okay? So maybe we need to make ourselves uncomfortable here, all right? And that's okay. With that being strength, putting ourselves in situations that make us uncomfortable requires a lot of strength, okay? It takes a lot of courage, but that's how we grow. That's how we evolve. All right. So then we have this Nine of Wands, okay? So this is the moon in Sagittarius. So we can see where some of the primal energies are holding us in a wounded state, in a stagnant state, maybe in a victimized state, okay? Where do we need to really acknowledge that instead of using our wands, our creative energy, our passion, our enthusiasm to push us forward, right, and to grow and find our truest potential, we're using them as a barrier, okay? The moon's there. There's fear. There's fear of the unknown. There's things that we can't see clearly. And what we're being asked to do is to look into that deeper, okay, and understand that it's hindering us and keeping us in a state of victimhood, okay? And we don't want to be there. That doesn't help us use the wand's energy to its greatest potential. So we're not moving towards our greatest potential, okay? And then we have our Hierophant, Taurus energy. So this is really an important, with two major arcanas here, Strength and the Hierophant, a very important spiritual process for us. There is really the potential here to grow spiritually. And with the Hierophant, it requires having faith, okay? Learning how to have faith in ourselves, learning how to have faith when the crap hits the fan, when life feels out of control, that we can ground ourselves in that Taurus energy and go back into alignment with faith, with belief in ourselves, with belief that spirit, God, whoever it is that you kind of align with, that they have your back, that they're going to see you through the process. You just have to ask, and you just have to have faith that everything is going to come together. All right. The other thing with this card that's very important, because it is an earth energy, is how do you ground yourself through that process, right? You don't want to go woo-woo off the charts like, I'm just putting it in God's hands. God gave us free will. God doesn't want us to do that. God wants us to learn how to navigate so that we evolve. Okay. So making sure that in the spiritual process you stay grounded is extremely important. All right, let's see. I'm going to get a little more information before I ask any other specific questions. 3 more cards, please, Spirit. What else do we need to know? One more card, please. Okay. So, we're starting here with the 10 of Swords, Sun in Gemini. All right. So, we know we're completing a cycle here with this card, okay? It is an ending. The other thing we know with this being the Sun in Gemini is that the optimism will return, okay? There's been a lot of things that have taken place here that have, with the Swords energy, really been keeping you mentally overwhelmed, okay? To the point that you're here on the ground, 10 swords in your back, okay? And I want you to notice something. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this, and I don't have my glasses on, so it's a little blurry for me too. But these 2 people are making the same hand symbol, okay? Not a coincidence that one came after the next, all right? Again, have faith. Have faith that the sun will come up again. Believe that, okay, this has been really, really mentally exhausting, but it's coming to an end and I can move forward, that there's hope at the end of the day. All right. It's really important that we remember how we're perceiving things impacts our reality. Okay. And if you let yourself sit in this energy, I'm the victim, I just keep getting hurt, I need to protect my energy at all costs, that's the energy that you stay in. Okay. The minute you remember to have faith, all right, and let things end when they're over instead of keeping them in your mind and alive, the moment you can move forward and allow the sun to come up again. Okay? And interestingly, now we have the moon in Taurus over Sagittarius, the moon in Sagittarius, rather. Okay? So, what does this mean with this being a moon in Taurus card? So, our attachment to things outside of us greatly impacts our ability to give freely. Okay? So, if you're emotionally attached to resources, material items, other people, things outside of yourself, okay, then it's hard to really be in the energy of reciprocation, okay, because you're putting value on things, not relationships, not your emotional health, not who other people truly are, what their value is, because it might not be on the outside, okay? So when you can really, in your mind, accept that value doesn't exist outside of you, you can give it and receive it freely, okay? Value is an internal thing, okay? And it is for other people as well. So this person is giving their resources away freely because they don't have an emotional attachment to it, all right? So maybe you've been finding security through this in things, okay? And we need to release that attachment a little bit so that we get the energy flowing in reciprocation in your life, okay? And here we have another card about energy flow and Sagittarius, all right? There's something very important to remember, especially if you've been in this state and you've been in this state, that those experiences are not here to break you. All right. Everything that happens to us is about evolving. All right. Even with these planets, there are some difficult planets, or they have the potential to be difficult. Pluto, Saturn, Uranus. okay? But they're not there to harm you. They're there to help you evolve. And you can use that energy to evolve, or you can use that energy to stay in the Nine of Swords. So with this card here, when we're having experiences in our life that are really overwhelming, remember this. Tempered glass, for example, and I use this example often with this card, goes through an absolutely rigorous process that should shatter it and break it, but it doesn't. It makes it stronger. And that's exactly what this card is saying. What you think is going to break you is actually there to make you stronger. And if you can change, alchemize, right? This is a card of alchemy, the way that you see it, you can make yourself stronger through anything that happens to you. Okay? With patience, with understanding, with support for yourself, you can change the worst situations you ever have into something that makes you the strongest version of yourself, and that renews your faith. Okay? It's a very important card. And like I said, it's a card of Sagittarius. So, Spirit, with that said, what challenges may we face? And remember, this is our South Node energy. It's not the energy that we're supposed to stay in. It's the energy that we're comfortable with, okay? But we don't evolve in this lifetime by staying there. We take the lessons that are helpful for us, and then we move towards the new, into the North Node, and that's how we become our highest vibration, our highest self, okay? Challenges, Spirit. 3 cards, please. Okay. I know I always, you'll see me smirking at the cards a lot because I'm just like, okay, we get it. So, challenge. We're starting here with this fun Knight of Swords. So, I think, especially with the 10 of Swords here, I'm sorry, I'm just moving my leg around the table leg. I think the challenge is going to be to not let our minds run off into either negative thinking or overwhelmed type thinking, catastrophic thinking, even negative thoughts about ourselves and our ability to handle it. We're going to maintain our faith here, okay, in ourselves. I think controlling an overactive mind going through a big change, especially a change like the 10 of Swords, right? We feel a little defeated with the 10 of Swords before the sun comes up again, right? So, and it's said in some teachings that all of the knights are mutable signs. So if that were the case, this would be Gemini as well, okay? So very important to allow your mind to slow down. And if you feel that especially when we're overwhelmed, right? Because we can have short communications with other people that cause conflicts. We can have conversations in our mind that put us into fight or flight. So, my dog's barking now. I'm sorry. Hanu, that's enough. Anyways, sorry. We want to make sure that we control that. All right. We want to make sure that we take a walk, that we do something to completely distract our mind. Go for a car drive, call a friend. Okay. I have a friend that's going through a really difficult experience in her life right now. And she called me yesterday. She's like, I'm starting to go off the deep end. I just needed to talk to somebody. It's a great thing. Call a friend. Okay. And then we have here our second knight. This is a challenge, right? So this is Virgo energy. So while we're in this process Instead of letting our mind race off, okay, and go crazy on us, we want to, this is going to be a challenge for you. So, but this is what we need to focus on. So when the mind starts going crazy, the best thing to do is to slow down and to start slowly making our plan forward. Okay. Even though it's here as a challenge and it's going to be difficult for you, it's probably the thing that's going to help you get out of the racing thoughts. All right. So what do we do in this? We plan. It really depends on what you're doing. This is collective reading and it will be different for everyone. But we stop, we ground ourselves, and we figure out what is one step I can take today that will make me feel more in control of my situation and my experiences. All right. One thing. And get up and bring it to fruition. Maybe 3 or 4 days later, you say to yourself, okay, I'm feeling anxious again. What are 2 things I can do today to help me take 2 steps forward today? And that is the Knight of Pentacles energy, okay? It may be slow moving, it may be methodical, but one way or another, you're moving forward with a grounded plan that doesn't overwhelm you and make you feel like so many things are going on around you and in your mind, okay? We want to challenge ourselves by taking slow, very well thought out steps forward that we can slowly build upon so that it becomes, with the Virgo energy, naturally the way we do things on a regular basis, okay? And here we have our Judgment card, okay? What does this mean? And this is Pluto energy. Let's not resist the change here. Let's not resist the transformation. This is a big opportunity for you to really birth a new version of yourself, right? The Empress isn't here, but with this, we know this is our rebirthing process. This is our moment to experience the water energy, okay? And accept and allow ourselves to live with the emotional things that have been affecting us, okay? And then we transform the ones that we can transform and we release the ones that we cannot transform. We just say, I accept this. This happened to me. This is part of my experience, but I don't have the power to go back and change it. I can transform it, okay, to the best of my ability. Maybe there's some things I can't transform completely right now. I have to accept that, okay? But that doesn't mean that you give up. That just means you accept where you're at right now, all right? But allow yourself to be a new version of yourself. Allow yourself to release the past and not keep holding on to these experiences that are really affecting your energy, all right? And affecting how you believe in yourself. So, what advice do you have for us, Spirit? 3 cards, please. Okay. Advice. We're here with this Ace of Pentacles. Spirit is reminding you here that there's so much available to you that will ground you, that will bring you stability, that will help you with this reciprocation, especially around Pentacles energy, right? The reciprocity. Stability, long-term security, in the material realm, right? Like I'm one of those people, like there's spiritual people that are like, oh, money is the devil and you shouldn't have anything and you need to live in scarcity. I don't believe that. That's not for me. They can believe that. That's absolutely fine for them. We live in a world that is it's money oriented, right? We all have to go to work. We all have to pay bills. And for me, I don't rely on money because I need to be rich, but I like to know my bills are paid. Like I sleep better at night if I know there's food in the fridge and my electricity is going to stay on and I'm not going to get evicted from my apartment, right? Like there's a security and a peace that we have when we know everything's going to be okay. And I don't think that's bad, right? So the universe is saying here is that you'll be provided for, okay? Even if there's some moments that are a little bit tough, have faith, you will be provided for, okay? They have your back. They're not going to let you go homeless or go without food or the things that you need to survive, okay? And when your energy about the pentacles here is more positive, you will receive more positive energy from the pentacles, right? Okay, so again, another card of having faith. Things will be fine. You'll be safe. You'll be secure. And then we have here another night. This is a very night heavy reading. We almost have all of them out. And to me, when I read, if you get 4 nights out, that's Chariot energy. Okay, we're almost there. We're almost ready to take off in the Chariot. So Sagittarius energy. Spirit's advice here is instead of using your wands to build a fortress around yourself, use your wands to live life, to be in your absolute radiance, to learn more, to explore. Go eat some Ethiopian food if you've never eaten Ethiopian food before, right? Just do something like courageous and daring and take a little bit of a risk, okay? Let go a little bit and have fun, all right? Life is here to live and we only get one shot at it and we can't control everything that's happening around us. Sometimes we just need to say, that's it. I'm just going to go ask that guy on a date. I'm just going to go book that trip. I'm just going to go eat some crazy thing in Chinatown that are hanging from the window. And I don't know why I'm doing it, but I'm doing it. Okay. Have fun. And then we have here this Saturn in Taurus. Okay. 7 of Pentacles. The advice from Spirit here is that there seems to be a little bit, with these Pentacles here, a little bit of a distrust around Pentacles right now, a little bit of fear. So Spirit saying here is to assess where you're at with your Pentacles, okay? Again, if you have that emotional attachment to material things and things outside of yourself, food, it can be alcohol, even though it's not water, but we use food for pleasure. We use alcohol for pleasure. Okay, it could be relationships. All right, we need to assess that. Okay, and with this being a card of Saturn, right, we want to say, where do I need to structure things differently? Where do I need to build more boundaries, right? So, right, for instance, if this person, their tree here, rabbits kept coming and eating it, what would they do? They put a boundary around it, okay? Like Spirit is saying to do that, exactly that. And also, you'll hear me say this a lot with this card, if this little plant here is beyond help, okay? If it's dead, stop watering it and putting your energy into it, all right? That's part of the assessment. We clean house a little bit. If we have things that are not providing for us, in progressing from our energy that we're putting into it, then it's time to let it go and plant a new seed, okay? Take assessment of where things are at and where they can be structured differently and how you're nurturing things that are either helping you progress or they're hindering you, all right? Because there's no hope left. It's a dead plant. Don't water dead plants. All right. So Spirit, if we're able to follow your advice and work through our challenges, what is the potential outcome here? 3 cards, please. Literally all Pentacles cards. There's something serious connected here with Pentacles and the South Node energy. And I'm going to say their potential is that some of you have an earth sign south node or an earth sign north node, right? Because the pentacles here just keep coming out, and they're increasing as we go through the reading. Okay, here we have learning how to deal with your pentacles with hope and optimism, right? This page of pentacles is looking at this pentacle like it's the most wondrous thing that he's ever seen, okay? Taking on this new life, this new energy about your pentacle energy. Oh, wow. So I can plan things step by step and create safety and security in my life. Wow. Oh, I didn't realize that I'm 100% in control of that. Let me learn more about that. Let me see what the best first steps are for me, in wonder and in awe that there's a new way of approaching this. Ace of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, like there's just an absolutely new way of looking at your pentacle energy, okay? And you will step into that with more of that awe energy than that fear energy, okay? For sure. Eight of Pentacles, Sun in Virgo. Now we're optimistic about working on ourselves and building our security in life. Oh, this is something I can perfect. We go from the student to the master. Okay? Like there's so much here for you in the growth of pentacles. So mastery of it. And with this being a sun card, it leads us into our highest potential, into our highest optimism, into we now feel so secure in this that there's nothing that can hold us back. Okay? Mastering it. That's amazing. And here we have this wonderful little devil. Okay? Because now the pentacles don't put us into fear mode, restrictive mode. I can't move. I'm literally the puppet on the strings, okay? It doesn't control us anymore. That moon and Taurus energy gets figured out, all right? We're not reliant with an emotional attachment or need security from things outside of ourselves. Now we're saying, no, 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 no. Not today, devil. Not anymore. Now I'm in control of myself and you need to leave the building. All right? Amazing growth. And this is Capricorn energy. All right? So, especially with this Aquarius card here, we are looking at ways of doing things differently, innovating, potentially rebelling a little bit. All right? And the Sagittarius energy here, we're looking at really gaining a lot of knowledge and wisdom, right, from this experience, learning a lot about ourselves, what we're made of, and potentially looking for people to help us along the way, people that know more than us, people that are very wise, okay? So here is I think this is my second reading I've recorded. I hope it resonates with you. I hope you've learned something here, how to work with astrology and tarot at the same time. If you did enjoy it, if you would please support the channel with like subscribing, liking, commenting, all of those things that people do here. And then I'll continue to learn my tech stuff that I'm terrible at and try to get these out to you guys, okay?